I'm like, man, you know when you're being racist.
Deporting people without warrant.
I'm not laughing at the death.
No. The ostriches are gonna die anyway. It's a back and forth mudslinging shit fight.
You don't even pay your taxes. I don't even think you graduated college.
It looks like he's literally just about to walk up, say the N-word, and then walk away. Let's see if we can sell some fucking razors here.
Agree to disagree's a fancy way of saying fuck you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Agree and Disagree with Nick Beaton. Very pumped for my guest today, one of my favorite comics, Dave Merheje. He's one of the best, most prolific comics I have ever had the opportunity to work with, the pleasure to work with. And he's here today. We are going to be talking about whether or not you can separate the artist from their art, and whether or not the term fascist or fascism has been overused to the point of watering the term down. Before I get to the podcast, please subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube, give the video a like, and if you're listening, please rate and review and follow along on whichever podcast app you have chosen. And now, let's get to Dave Merheje.
Fuck you.
All right, I am now here with Dave Merheje. Dave, thanks for coming on today, man. Really looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We've known each other for a long time.
Long time, 20 plus years. Like it's or like sort of mid 2000s ish when we started comedy. So somewhere around that area.
I'd say 2005, 2006, around that time we were running around in Toronto. Yeah. So when you messaged me, I was like, for sure, man. That's fine.
And I'm trying to, as I say, I'm trying to get this off the ground. You know, I'm trying to see what it does. Like podcasts, like if just comics coming on talking about comedy. You know, no one wants to fucking hear it anymore. And then, then I tried to do more like pointed political commentary, and I'm like, no one wants to hear that from me either. And it's guys like actually like Dave Smith and those types of guys who are now being taken seriously. That has absolutely turned me off. I'm like, oh God, is that what I was trying to do and just didn't succeed at? Which is even sadder because I'm like, I was trying to be Dave Smith and I failed at it. You know, fucking crazy that is.
Dude, I would like someone would like see me like complaining about some, and they're like, "Oh man, you should do a podcast, dude." And I'm like, I think I'm legitimately angry about this.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking about monetizing it. Let me talk it out with my therapist first.
So the topics we're going on today, we agree on one, disagree on the other. The first topic we both agree on it is you can separate art from the artist. Just as a general sort of let's teeing off point here, because we both believe that to be true. Do you think that like the whole debate about this is more about like virtue signaling that you're saying the right things than it is about genuine like ethical dilemma that people have? Like as an example, you know, let's say I don't want to go as high as Weinstein because I think everybody's on the same page there.
Yeah.
But I don't know how low to go. Like, let's say, remember Aziz Ansari's thing where like she wrote about that date that he was on. Like you read it in the details and he sounds, ugh, you know, like it definitely felt like, ugh, but like, do people really read that and care? Or is it just to say, yeah, I think, you know, by saying he's a piece of shit, I have now flagged to everybody that I'm good. Please, you know, leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think individually, I feel it's like a case by case person, right? Because like if somebody says that, we don't really know. I mean, how would I know you believe that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just say it on social media, or you could say it in conversation. But I think it's the action, like, you know, that you take. I think to me is more important than what you're saying. Like if you're saying like,
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, just like, you know, I could scream all I want, you know, oh, this is fucked up, but if I'm still partaking in it, then, you know, I'm going against what I'm saying. So it's like, I think it's the action that you do, you know, cut it off if you believe this person fucked up or is not a good person.
Yeah. And I think with some of these things, when it comes to celebrity cancellations, for lack of a better term, you know, celebrity type of things where somebody, a very public figure, is accused of something or absolutely tweeted a thing, sometimes it's easy to look at it and go, okay, this person was clearly
Yeah.
in the wrong here or very, very criminally wrong
Yeah.
versus I don't really need to know about this. Like, we know too much about shit. Like, I think if we go back to a point in time where, there was those trash magazines that were at the Inquirer and stuff like that. Those were like literally people hiding in a bush on the beach trying to get like a shitty
Yeah.
picture of people.
Yeah.
And now people are just like, oh, I had a bad date with Aziz Ansari. I think I can sell this. And they'll just bring stuff that maybe they didn't actually have a real problem. They might have been like, I didn't like the date, but I can live with this. But when it
Yeah.
becomes something they can monetize, they go, okay, I'm gonna try to do that.
Yeah, it's like, again, it's like monetizing it too, if it's not it's like, I feel like sometimes if you are, I mean, and not with everyone, if you are doing bad shit, that shit that will come to light. I'm a firm believer that, like, if you're however long you're kind of hiding it. But I think also people that knew about it, I know you that don't say anything early too. I'm talking about, where people are like, they knew about it and then now they're telling us like this is fucked up. I'm like, why don't you tell us before? I understand
Yeah.
that. I understand might be like you're friends with them or you're tied to them, but it's just like you just waited this whole time. So, you know what I mean? That could have been preventive in the past if you spoke up, which I can understand. If you're tied to this person, if you're a friend, that could be a difficult process, but
Well, and it depends on what it is too, right? Like, if you have a friend who's like kind of a dickhead, you're not gonna like out him, especially if you're just good friends. You're
yeah,
not gonna be
yeah,
like, yeah, he kind of does some dickhead things. But it's like when you look at like Seth Rogen, James Franco, you look at like the people who were working with Harvey Weinstein and knew exactly what he was doing.
yeah.
There are people there who could have absolutely prevented shit from happening, and they didn't. So
Not at
that's
all.
yeah, that's the type of thing. But do you think it's like, I do think there's this thing where, some scandal comes out and it's certain people that were like, we definitely want to end this person. Like Louis C.K. was one of them. And obviously what he did was wrong. And everybody, I think, I haven't heard many people say, no, what he did was okay. It's like he used his position of power to ask for consent, but it basically put women in a position of being like, I
Yeah.
can't fucking say no. And I think most people would agree with that takeaway. But still, nothing technically criminal happened. He sort of, he apologized in a weird way, and he went
Yeah.
away for a very short period of time. And now that he's back, there are some people who are just like, I will never forgive him. And I guess that's a personal choice, but there always seems to be something connected to the I will never forgive him. The follow-up always tends to be, and neither should you. And if you do, you're a piece of shit. Where it's like, I'm sorry, he still writes fucking funny jokes. Like, if I see a new Louis C.K. joke, it's funny, So it's hard. I can separate it to the point where I'm just gonna watch funny things that he says.
Oh, so yeah, like, are you asking me if I could separate myself?
Well, no, not specifically
Oh,
him, but I used him as an example because there are certain people that will kind of make it seem like they aren't going to support this person anymore and think that no one else should. And that's the second part. It's more like you're personally allowed to go, I can never watch another Louis C.K. anything ever again. But at some point in time, some people are still going to do it. I feel like there's this weird judgment from the people who've made that moral distinction in their lives. Do you notice that at all? Do you notice that
oh,
people
for
do
sure. Yeah,
that?
you notice it all the time. But I feel like people are still going to watch him, and comics are still like, like he's does podcasts. Do you know what I'm saying? There is like a
Yeah.
it feels, I don't know if it's split. I don't know what the exact proportion of it is, but there are, yeah, of course, I've come across people that will not listen anymore, will not support, but then I've come across people that, like, it's almost like nothing really happened and they're continuing on their business to keep to watch or associate.
Um, Here's one for me that I could never watch again or listen to again, just because it was like I just can't. I'm not picture him doing the things, and also I didn't like him that much to begin with, so it wasn't that hard. But Bill Cosby was one where I'm like, you're out. Like, I
Oh yeah,
can't
it's pretty
watch you
awful. That's
anymore.
awful.
Like, yeah.
So I was just talking to friends about it last night because I saw the documentary.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
It was like in 2022. I don't know what year it came out. I was like this, or maybe 23.
Mm,
I
yeah,
can't, or
I
22.
did
You know
see
what?
that. It was something like that. It was during the pandemic. That's why I forgot. I was like, oh, I did watch that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can never. Yeah, that's done for me. Like I can never.
No,
That's like a very like never again. And I was like a Richard Pryor, like Eddie Murphy. I don't think I ever even got into Cosby, to be honest with you, when I was younger.
yeah.
As like somebody watching his stand up, I never really got into. I couldn't name a joke or yeah, I wasn't on a, but like now for sure, not even
No,
not.
and that's why I mean it was why it was easy for me was because I never really gave that much of a shit. I watched the Cosby Show when I was a kid a little bit, but it wasn't like my favorite show by any means. It was whatever. I always found him like I hated his character on that show because he was like this moralizing dad, and I thought he was just shitty to his kids. I fucking hated him on the show. I was just like I'd
Well, dude,
hate that guy as my dad.
the doc, you're like, this guy's a fucking criminal. This is
Yeah, yeah.
all. This is the worst. It was
What?
so. When I hear somebody that is like, just like still not, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is
Yeah.
your character that you can see all this and you go, no, I don't see anything wrong. I go, this is fucking absolutely criminal.
See, someone like that a bit for me is Michael Jackson, where I still will listen to Michael Jackson. It's impossible not to. He's probably the most important artist of my lifetime. So
What
he's
bars
gonna,
playing?
yeah, yeah, I know. He's not going anywhere, right?
People are still playing them. It's like you go to any bar or club, like it's just like constant. Like,
Yeah. So he's going to be around. I'm going to listen to him. But there are people who don't think he did what he did. And I'm not deluded in this. Like I believe he did what people said he did, but I'm still
yeah.
going to listen to his music. I think I've seen people like argue so much online about there's no proof and he definitely didn't do this and I'm like I don't think it's all a big conspiracy set up to get Michael Jackson, I think he did
Well,
at
yeah.
least
Also,
some of what he's accused of.
isn't it funny you listen to somebody like that? It's like this guy's like a plumber and he's fully put an investigation out. Like, do you know what I mean? Like this guy watches football every Sunday, doesn't even see his family, but he fully put an investigation, like an off-duty cop almost. So, you're like, you don't even pay your taxes. You want me to like, how the fuck did you put this together?
Yeah,
Like
he
that's
handed in his badge and gun, and still he's like, "But I'm not off
like,
the case. I'm
but you
more
would.
dangerous now."
Those people make me like, not only are you like fucking delusional and yes, and he did all those stuff, it's just like you're now gonna sell me, like it's just a hard sell. Like I didn't ask for this. You're gonna tell me I'm fucked up, and then you're gonna go on to your like own investigation that is fucking stupid.
It's weird with and like and that's when and people I don't know where they're getting it. Obviously, it's just the internet. They're just googling it and they're reading it and other people's like watching other people's YouTube videos and then taking like a nugget of information to use that in a Facebook fight, like to
Oh,
prove that
dude,
this.
we all became shitty private investigators. It's like, dude, it's people are watching 6 YouTube videos and connecting them and then telling you. Now it's even they're watching TikTok videos and they're like, yo, this is what it is. You're like, I don't even think you graduated college.
No, no.
So how am
Yeah,
I gonna sit here eating a hot dog with you and like I don't, you have some friends where you're like, this theory's fucking stupid. This is just you alone and single and in your basement putting this together.
yeah, yeah. Um, it's so one of the biggest ones was Harvey Weinstein. I mentioned him a second ago, but like this is one where I think he's the worst, probably. I mean, it's him and Cosby neck and neck.
Yeah.
Whatever you decide on whatever day, he's the worst, and I think he's the one who not one person who has like said I think he's the most despicable piece of shit in the world
Yeah.
has still definitely watched one of his movies since he's been accused, sentenced, everything. Because if you look at the movies that he was involved in, you just can't not watch them. You're not going to watch Pulp Fiction again ever because like or Good Will Hunting or any of the any Tarantino movie. You can't watch any of them. So people just aren't going to do that.
It's like you never even paid attention. Like you didn't even know the amount of movies he had his hands on.
Yeah.
Like, when you
Yeah.
think about it, like when you go, I think, is it a thing of now you're like super hyper self-aware that you're watching the end? Like who watches the end, to look up like who the grip is? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Right.
it's like, but now and now you don't know. He's had his hands in everything.
Yeah. I wouldn't have known who Harvey Weinstein was until, like, I didn't really know who he was
I
until
did,
the
yeah, yeah,
accusations
yeah.
came out, right? Like, I might have heard of, like, I've heard of Miramax, right? And that's his production
Yes.
company. And then I probably heard of Weinstein Production or something, but it would have just been background noise. And then all of a sudden it's like, he's the guy who's responsible for all this shit. And he asked women to watch him shower and weird shit like that, or whatever the fuck he was accused of doing, like a lot of shit. So
He looks like like you see, in like a sewer on the street, you see the water slop, like the remains of it. So he looks like that is the description I have for him, is like he looks like that gooey stuff at a like almost radiation. You're just like
that'll be
this.
the best soundbite from this episode. Harvey Weinstein, a sewer and that slop. He looks like sewer slop. Harvey Weinstein is sewer slop. Maybe one more question on this topic before we move to the next one. There's been this sort of thing that people have said, it's not cancel culture, it's accountability culture. I've always had issues with the term cancel culture because it becomes weaponized and a talking point, and it overused. I just hate it because, like, then it's every conservative talking head going cancel culture, and it hurts the case. I do think there's people who get fired for shit that they shouldn't have because of internet related pile-ons. But a good example of this is why I don't think the term accountability culture and cancel culture hold up, or calling it accountability culture as opposed to cancel culture, is there was this story about a guy. He worked for Google. He'd just taken this job, or sorry, he worked for Apple. He'd just taken this job working for Apple. He used to work for like Google or Facebook or something beforehand. And during his period of time when he was living in Silicon Valley, before he had really gotten like a good job, he'd written some shitty book that was half fiction, half true life story about a guy living in Silicon Valley. And when he wrote the story, he kind of talked about Silicon Valley women, and he wrote a couple of disparaging paragraphs about the women that you encounter in that area. And they weren't awful, but they were like, okay, you're kind of like, he sounded mildly like incel-y-ish, like
Okay.
it had that sort of vibe to it, but not that far. And then people were like, oh, it's accountability culture, accountability culture. And I'm like, okay, Apple fired him because other people at Apple said they weren't comfortable working with him, even though there's nothing really that he wrote that should make you feel that uncomfortable. It was during the pandemic, so no one was in office, so no one ever had to be next to him. It just was like a real fucking PR nightmare that they put out quick. But they would never, no matter how many people tweet about it, stop selling Beats by Dre because there's way too much goddamn money in it. And Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, we know what he's done. Like, he's convicted of punching a woman in the face at a nightclub, and he has other arrests and charges. So it's like, it can't be called accountability culture when within the same company they only fire the one guy because there's no money to it. It's just
Yeah, I see
that's
what you're
the
saying.
path of least resistance. So what's your take on that? I know that was the longest non-question I've ever fucking asked in my life. I just
I
did a
think
bit for you, and then
no, I don't know if this
got any
is like this.
tags?
Well, it's just I don't know if this kind of relates to it. Is like it's like in your heart when you're being wrong. This is what I'm tired of, is like you're yelling at me for calling you out, let's say, and you go, "Oh, you're just cancel culturing me." I'm like, "Man, when you're being racist." Like,
Right.
you fucking know. You know what I mean? Don't like look at me, do it, and then go, "Oh, you're soft or you're this." I go, you did it. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
more for. Like, you did it. Like, don't make me crazy that you didn't do that. Like, there's ways. It's like goes back to jokes, right? It's like, dude, the people who write really good jokes, they're not. It's not hateful jokes. It's really, really good jokes. Like Carlin was able to do that in such a
Mm-hmm.
brilliant way because he was a great comedian. He was a great writer. He was just a wonderful performer. So I think it's like, don't yell at me because you did a racist joke. it fell flat, and then you want to go, oh, this whole community's soft. It's like, no, you
Mhm.
fucking knew what you were doing. You're in your
Yeah.
30s. What are you,
It's
16?
especially when people do it, and then part of this was what brought the rise of the quote unquote edgelord comedians who would just go up and try to be shitty and
Yes.
say what they deemed like they know that it was racist. That and then they always act like when people don't like them or whatever, it's like, but you're going up trying to not be likable, like, and then people don't like you and you're acting as if that's crazy. The other thing that's frustrating is when people because it's the same type of situation but flipped, where people I you can tell know that for sure they're overreacting, so the criticisms against them would, if they're making, like, I've seen people round shit up to racism that really isn't, and they know it isn't because they're smarter than that, but they still like they just will never give an inch, never be like, I could be wrong about this.
Right.
So that kind of happens, like the fucking Netflix guy who the head of Netflix at one point in time, he was let go because in his staff meeting he said these are the words that we need to like watch out for or not use, and he said them out loud, which you kind of have to do if you're trying to let people know the words you're talking about. And then he got fired because the internal memos of the meeting and stuff went out there,
Yeah,
and it's
okay,
like,
got
that guy wasn't being racist, he was literally talking about being less racist and less offensive.
Oh, I
Just
see what you mean. I see
yeah,
what you mean.
you just using the words, like, so sometimes that shit happens too, right? Where people kind of know, I think if they were to really be honest, they know the better judgment, and they still kind of uh push it anyway, push the fact that this person
Well,
um
and maybe I don't know if it ties back to what you were saying, is like even some of these clubs that like they're just making money off of this person who is being racist because it's providing them money. Like, would they do that if that wasn't there? Like, it's like a whole bunch of fuckery.
yeah, I think that's really true. I think businesses in and of themselves, I think when they think making an action is good for them financially, they will do it, and it doesn't
Yeah,
matter what that action is. It's
exactly.
like, if we're gonna go with fucking right now, we're Gillette and we're gonna do an ad about toxic masculinity. We think that that's what's trending. Let's see if we can sell some fucking razors here. And then like when that starts to go down, they're like, let's get back and just put a fucking lumberjack there shaving at a sink. Let's get back to like our
Yeah,
roots here.
it's like whatever benefits them too. So I don't trust these companies at all.
No, no, and they shouldn't be trusted, and that's why I love and I really hope that the left wing could get back to this, because I still consider myself on the left wing, of course, because that's where most of, like, if you were to quiz me on what my beliefs are, they would line up with so many of what would be considered left wing values. But we always used to fucking not trust corporations. Like, we always used to think
Yeah,
that they had alternative motives in what they were doing. So if Bud Light puts out an ad with Dylan Mulvaney selling beer, right, or whatever, or there's some sort of connection that they want to do, and they're buying influential power there, we used to be able to look at that skeptically and go, what are they up to here? Like, why are
yeah,
they?
yeah,
There's something they're trying to do, and it's trying to manipulate us into buying their shit. So we
yeah.
need to just look at it that way.
It's
um
funny. It's not funny, but it's just like when like a right wing person will just start yelling at you for being like whatever, and you're like, I'm just trying to. It's like I'm trying to look at this in an empathetic way. I'm
mhm.
not no fucking agenda here. I'm like, what's right or wrong? It's like I feel we lost that. You're talking to crazy people almost, like in a sense, when they not like, they're just looking at you and you're like, they're moving the goalpost. You're just like, I don't understand
Yeah.
what's happening here. I'm just trying to be
Well, and
empathetic.
that's the problem with right wingers too, and why I can never line up with that side, even if there's like maybe certain policies or certain things that I agree with. Why I couldn't line up with them is, yeah, they're usually shitty artists because they have no empathy, compassion. They have
Yeah,
no introspective. It's just like, this is what it is, and this is why it's right, and this is why, suck it up, and like that's always their sort of.
you're talking. Yeah,
Before I get to the rest of the episode with Dave Merheje, please take a minute right now, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you're listening to this podcast, rate, review, follow along. Please tell your friends about it. All this stuff really helps me in the early days of this podcast, and it is greatly appreciated. All right, let's get back to Dave Merheje. But now let's get into the topic that we disagree on. The word fascism is overused. I think it gets used way too much. You were saying you don't necessarily agree with that. Let's see if we can hash this out. I guess I'll just start with a sort of, again, more broad question. Do you think there's a point where, like, calling, someone you disagree with, where you've seen maybe an incident of somebody, just like you see like somebody make a valid point, and then you just see somebody throw like a term like fascist out there, or you're just supporting fascism, some version of that, where you're like, that's kind of not exactly what that person is doing?
Have I
Um,
seen it personally, or
have
is
you
that
seen it, or are you sort of like aware of it in some incident? It doesn't even need to mean like you've seen it personally in your life, but like on TV, an interview, anything where like you've seen just somebody go, just sort of resort to using that after somebody has maybe made an actual argument, whether you disagree with it or not, but then the person just kind of responds with, well, that's fascist.
Can you give me an example of what they would have said where they called him a fascist, right? Because most, like a lot of times when I'm watching something, I'm like, yo, I think it's pretty fascist. Like,
um,
unless they said something and it's not, and then someone goes, "You're a fascist." I just need
well,
to
how about
know. I
this?
guess.
Well, let me dial this back instead.
Yeah.
I think that Donald Trump for the last 10 months has done a lot of actual fascist things. And I think that he
Yes.
is absolutely, whether it's just flirting with fascism or outwardly trying to commit acts of fascism, like trying, what things that he's doing are absolutely fascistic, but maybe some other form of institution like the courts has gotten in the way, which thank God for the other institutions that can actually step in and do something. But like deporting people without warrants or due process to a third location country for money, when you like, it's absolutely like a fascist behavior. But I think that for years people called Donald Trump fascist incorrectly, based on maybe thinking that he was going to do these things. So it's not like they, hey, he's doing them now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that part of that helped him, because now people tune out to it. People just go, "Oh, what's he doing? That's fascist now." Like people
Oh,
just
they
like,
become the word becomes meaningless to them in a sense because he did
mm-hmm.
the thing they thought he did. I could see that, whereas like they did like they that now, but it's like, I mean, I'm like from the beginning, I'm like, this guy's energy is pretty much that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? In a sense, like I don't think I called him outwardly a fascist at the early stages, but I was like, this is that type of behavior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Like when he first got elected in 2016, I was like, Jesus Christ. And I just found him such like a person of low character, just a low character human
Yeah.
being. And I couldn't believe so many people loved him, and still do. But I just think that like after he got elected, they just spent like years trying to be like, he's working with Russia, and he's just all these things that were like, there's grains of truth to them, but they blew them out of proportion, I think. And I think that helped get him in for a second term, where now he's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And
Oh,
like,
you think it's, like I always, when people are like, I love, because I know like a lot of people that are like, I love Trump. I'm like, he reminds me of like, like as a stand up and you're in some small town and that sleazy, that like one guy in town that owns like all the businesses, that sleazy fucking, do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
He's trying to be cool with you and he's saying wild shit. And then, he's just so insecure inside. He wants to invite you back to his big house, and he takes you into his garage and you know what I mean? Like, there's no character. He's racist. That's who
yeah,
Trump, right? Who Trump is
yeah.
to me, is that
There's a
small town, fucking rich, fucking racist piece of shit.
As you're saying this, is just reminding me of a guy, and I forget his name, and I'm not going to mention too much of the affiliation that he's with, because there's no point in me getting into that. But he was basically like some sort of person connected to a club, like
Yeah.
money wise, and he'd always say like weird things. There was one time he had his dog there in the green room, and it's
I
a
know who you're
female
talking.
dog. Yeah, I'm sure you do. And he called and he
Because
called it.
he did that type of shit to me where I'm like,
Oh,
what the
that's
fuck is
great.
happening here?
You were saying that thinking of that yeah. But
Yeah.
he called his dog like a bitch. And it was a female dog, but so he was trying to be like this, but it was like he hit it in such a hard, gross. It was meant to make your skin crawl, which it did. I was like,
Yeah, yeah, and
"Ugh."
that's what blows my mind when people ride with this guy. I'm like, dude, this guy's a fucking dork. Like, there's
Yeah.
no like, there's nothing, no appeal. Like, he's just a monster of a human being. He'd fuck you over. He gives me that vibe of like,
Hmm.
this guy would fuck us all over in a heartbeat. There is no loyalty, and is like, you can even. So I don't understand when people are like, no, this is right. This is the right movement. I'm like, how?
Hmm.
It makes me feel like, just like, what am I? What's happening here? Like, you don't have that much of good intuition, or like you're
Yeah.
not a good judge of character. That's like that. This guy, this is the guy. Like, just. I'm not talking about politics. I'm just saying, as a person, when you hear him talk, you're like, this is not. There's shadiness all around this. How do you like a
Yeah.
used, like, just like a hustler almost?
Yeah. 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 Perfect word. Hustler. So when it comes to like the idea, I feel like the calling people fascists, like calling Trump fascist or calling certain Republicans fascist, it's backfired in two different ways. One way, I do think it's made people that maybe were less in, like didn't like Trump or were more maybe indifferent towards him to tune out to real aspects of fascism
Actual,
that he
yeah.
was doing. And then the playbook on the right wing also became to call Democrats or liberals in Canada fascist, right? Like you had,
Oh, I didn't know
like the other day, Carney just killed all the fucking ostriches, right? And they were healthy ostriches. You hear about this news story?
that.
There's these ostriches.
No,
There's these ostriches in
that's
BC,
wild.
ostrich farms. Yeah, right. And I actually don't know the story that much. I have to look into it more. I know they were
I'm
gonna.
not laughing at the
No,
death.
no, it's
That's like
okay.
a wild, like, that's like, what happened there?
um, it had something to do with like I don't want to sound like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about all with this, but there was a reason why the ostriches were going to be put down, and it had something to do with potential illness. But then the ostriches were tested, and they were fine, and they kept getting this stay of execution on these ostriches until finally they're gone. They did all their legal fights to delay, and eventually they're all gone. So people are like, that's a fascist. You're a fascist killing these people ostriches. Because it's an ostrich farm, right? It's like, not, I mean, the ostriches are going to die anyway. It's just, you're selling them for meat or whatever. But so you had that. That's an example. Biden, it was connected to, during the COVID era with Facebook and stuff, putting real pressure on them to not let people post certain things about
Yeah.
COVID. So okay, they're like, that's fascist. It just seems like, yeah, it's a back and forth mudslinging shit fight, and
So they're both calling each other this, and they're just losing the meaning of the actual word. So when it comes to, I think what you're saying is, when it comes to somebody actually being a fascist, you'd use the word for that. But what's happening is, by using it, throwing it around for everything, it's minimizing the ones that are actually doing it.
yeah,
Like,
like I
impactful on that. Like, for us to also be like, to take notice, right? So if we're just calling everything that, and when somebody comes along who is actually fascist, you're saying that our alert, or our ability to know it, is being lessened.
Yeah, and to be able to call it out properly where people listen to it, I call Trump, go type Trump is a fascist in search on any social media platform, and it's just thousands of tweets or whatever posts about people saying those exact words. And sure, in some instances, like as I say, these deportations that he's doing, clear fascism, the fucking meme shitcoin that anybody can buy some of and just inflate his it's the biggest form of fucking corrupt bribery, which is right
Yeah.
in line with a banana republic type government. So there's just some of these things I'm like, these are clear cut, like actual fascism. But I just felt like there was just people were signaling that alarm for so long. eventually you stop going down to the bomb shelter, man. You're just like,
Well, yeah,
it's
it's like,
fucking nothing, you know?
would you say like, or an example is like if like when you see people who hate Carney, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say like or conservatives, right? In Canada, like he
Mhm.
does something, they would go like, you fucking fascist. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying? Like they're using it like to kind of destroy his character in a sense where it might not be something he's doing that's a fascist thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like every politician, every elected government wants power, has achieved getting power, and now wants more power and to hold on to their power. That by virtue of itself isn't fascist. There are certain things that you can do in the pursuit of more power that are
Yeah.
100% fascist. And I just think that if we don't learn to fucking just save that word for when we need it, it's not
But
gonna have the same effect.
But also, is that maybe putting too much in the hands of the general public who don't even probably know what the word fascist is, who are just fully like, are you telling the internet
Yeah.
to go, "Hey, chill on," because I feel the average internet person does not know anything. They know
Yeah.
5 things, maybe what's in their fridge. They know, like, you know, they know streaming service. Then they just start going off. So it's like, yeah, I agree with you. It's like you're putting it in the hands of people who are just fucking spewing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the you know, it's beautiful that you have the internet, but then the bad side of the internet is like everybody has 62 opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody, you're just talking. I don't know if you noticed. I mean, it's just like, dude, I remember starting comedy and you would hear you would go to a comedy place and you're like, yo, this guy's off his this guy's saying some like conspiracy, some fascist tape, but you only saw him on Tuesdays. You didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
access to the so you weren't with them for 7 days. Like we all how we started comedy in Toronto. We know we if we both off the like we know the people that you'd be like, oh man, we're at Einstein's.
Yeah.
We're gonna be trapped in a corner. This guy's just gonna let him get his stuff off, and then you leave. But you
Yeah.
know, back then there was no
Yeah.
internet for him to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
have a whole platform.
Einstein's or the Fox or whatever on Sunday night. It's just like, when am I up? You're up after the guy with fresh knuckle wounds.
That's what I'm saying. He'd come off and tell you, fuck the prime minister and give you all these theories. And you're like, well, I mean, Monday, I'm not seeing this person. I might
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even Sunday. He might not be on. But now it's like that person has a full, web series, full podcast, subscribers, you know what I mean? And I think that's adding to all the like, misinformation or all that stuff.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
we
No,
that
when
we
I say this, when I talk about it, people overusing it, I do realize I'm screaming into the void, right? It's not like anybody's going to be like, "Oh, that's a good point. I will stop using it." Like, people are just going to use it. It just sucks because, like, even words like racist or transphobe or something like that, those words get thrown around a lot too. And sometimes it's just like you need to save these words. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, being called a racist publicly mattered. You were like, fuck, like people
yeah.
didn't do it to this frequency where now it's just like, man, just go, I don't know, go type it. I didn't really think Barack Obama was that great of a president. You will be called racist.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I liked Obama, but I don't know why I said that. Like, I'm like, fucking everybody just like, I actually
Well,
feel bad.
because I've had like I've had racist stuff thrown at me, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's pretty, it's. But I feel even like now, it seems like people are just willy nilly being super racist in public.
There is more. I
Like it's like
actually, but
extremely
that's what,
like
but I feel like that's one of the side effects of overusing a word is that the word loses its meaning as people use it more. There's less of a social impact for being called it. Then you can really start to cook. You can really start
well,
to
they
be
are.
racist, and then
That's
people can call you racist, and you're like, who gives a fuck? Yesterday you called the goddamn guy on the rice package racist. Like, you're not to be taken seriously. It's just
well, it's like it's like, and I think like with Trump is like he made that. That's why I like it's the art. Like he says shit like that, and everyone's like, okay, I could be racist too.
Yeah,
And it's
Trump,
like now it's the fucking floodgates are open.
he opened the fucking door for people being pieces of shit. Like it's just crazy, you know.
It's like also when I hear people sometimes too be like, "Oh, I didn't know he was gonna be like this." I go, "How did you not know? How did you not know?"
That's
There's
what's
5 things at least in the first month where you're like, "Okay, we're not going in the right way."
Oh yeah, I like go back to 2015 when he got the nomination. I was like, this is gonna be bad. Like
Yeah,
he's just he's a big walking fucking brash shitty impulse. Like he's just I want to do this because it's good for me. Fuck you. And then he'll say
yeah,
whatever he wants. Like him making fun of that reporter, like with the fucking motion or whatever. Like that to me, I'm like, are people not seeing this and just appalled by this man when he called fucking basically prisoners of war cowards? Like, I mean, what does it just, but it got to a point where so much of the media obsessed with everything they did so much that they would literally round up everything he did to the worst thing. And it's like, dude, just wait 2 days and he will actually say and do
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Because what's happening with him now, for instance, right? He just sued the BBC for putting two quotes together in a documentary about January 6th that were made it look like he said something he didn't, and it's actually true. They did do that. They put these things together. Most people have seen it are like, yep, they agreed. Top brass at BBC, two of them were resigned because of it. But because that's in the news now, this big Trump victory, and everybody's like fucking losing their minds talking about it.
Yeah.
He just pardoned like a ton of fucking people like Rudy Giuliani and all these other people who did bullshit and got convicted of that bullshit and should have had to
Uh,
face the consequences for it. But he knows how to play the fog of war. He knows how to just dilute the whole, seeing the whole situation with all this extra bullshit that keeps people fighting. It's frustrating. I know
Man,
it's not going
that's
to
a good
change,
word.
but it's frustrating.
That is
Yeah.
the word that it's like you feel like so frustrated, and then when people don't see it, you're just like you're even more frustrated. You're like, how did we lose this?
Mm-hmm.
Did
Mm-hmm.
we lose our common sense? We lost empathy. It's just like, and I think like I think there are people out there, it's him, but there's also people out there that want this. And that's the more fucked up part about it as well. Is like he's like
Yeah.
there's a large amount of people that are like, yeah. And then you're kind of almost looking around like were they were always like this. They were just
Yeah.
waiting for somebody to come along. And you're like, you start looking at people sideways.
Yeah. It's with the deportations and there was another thing that he did where there was that a student in it was a Columbia University or whatever, but was a part of a pro-Palestinian group and he spoke out or whatever. He had a visa and he's trying to get the visa revoked. And all these people who defended it, who have for years been talking about the importance of freedom of speech and the importance of due process and all this other shit, that just immediately cave to that, just go, nope, he's allowed to do it because of this. And you just hear them really have to do gymnastics to
Yeah.
completely change their point of view. Like either freedom of speech fucking matters or it doesn't. And I understand maybe being in on a visa is tenuous, but it's not like you have no fucking rights at all. Like the visa's been granted. Like when they reapply for a visa, you can go, no, look, we don't really think we want you here or whatever. But again, that wouldn't be the average someone in immigration making that decision. This is Trump literally picking a guy. I don't like what he said. Get rid of him. That's fucking crazy. That's like,
Yeah. And
because
it's and
no
you hear
King's protests make sense. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you just hear people that agree with him with Trump, and you're just like, yeah, I hear it. You just hear it all the time, where they're just like, oh, and you're like, you're not even listening to the like. So that just lets me know you have the same beliefs as that, and that makes me think you're a racist. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That makes me you don't want immigrants here when you're just not when you're agreeing with this guy. You just can't be like, oh, I don't like what you say. It feels like it's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like there's like no actual morals, ethics, or integrity anymore. Everything is like malleable to whatever. Whenever your person does it, it's okay. Whenever the other
Yeah.
people do it, it's bad. And it's just Frustrating, I think, is the word of the day
It's
on
like
this. It's just
if it's like back in the day if a king was like, "Hey man, I don't like you made fun of my hat." Like I'm just gonna off you. You're just like, "What the fuck is going
yeah.
on here? I just made a joke." Or it's like if it's like you're going against what they're saying. It's frustrating because you're like, I didn't even know you could do that. This guy, you're going against some like you don't like how they spoke about you, and you're being a, they're speaking in a way where because you're being a monster, and then you go, oh, I want that removed. It's like I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, no one
you know,
did. He is
it's
he is
disheartening.
fucked with every norm possible. He's done so many things that people are like they're not against the law, but they didn't make a law because they didn't think any fucking president would ever do it. Like they just never thought that they'd do it. And they're like, yeah, it's not against the law. We should really tighten up these laws. Like we need to
Yeah,
really rein in the federal branch of government because he's just destroyed it. He's fucked with the courts. He's fucked with the
yeah,
House. Like he's just basically said, like, yeah, I know it's your job to for tariffs, but I'm going to put them on anyway. Fuck you. And I'm going to raise them because you
yeah,
don't like them. So yeah, he's just violated every norm that's to be expected. He's the least stately fucking president ever. That's why Obama was great. Like just a guy fucking you could look at and go, that's a world leader right there. You look at Trump and you're like, who's this fucking piece of shit? Like as he walks
yeah.
towards when he gets off Air Force One and he walks towards that fucking the pit of people, he like walks in like all slunched over. It looks like he's literally just about to walk up, say the N word, and then walk away. Like,
He's so he's so like his face just screams racism to me.
yeah,
I
yeah,
look at his
and
face and I go, he's gonna say something, and he says something, and then everyone's like, the people who vote for him are like, yeah, it's fine.
it's crazy though that he has not really said anything in like public or speeches that like really crosses the line. Like he's crossed the line on certain things and have just said really tacky things and poor choice of words, but he chose them the way he wanted to. I just think they're a
Yeah,
poor choice of words. He didn't fuck up. He said it the way he wanted to. But like apparently there's a bunch of like tapes of him on The Apprentice, like, when like they're, rolling in between takes and different things like that, where he's like said straight up slurs, like a lot of them, and like they've never been released. I don't know necessarily the validity, whether they definitely exist or not, but I've heard like there's these tapes that exist of him just saying these things, and he's been in the spotlight now for over 10 years as like a political figure, and not one rally has he said like a hard R, like it's crazy. Like you would think that just in his state and who he is
yeah.
as a person, like how, I don't know. I mean,
You think
he's
they
obviously,
for sure covered those tapes? I'm for sure he
yeah.
went back to cover those tapes. There's no way.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's got to be self-aware of like, okay, I said bad shit, and I continue to say bad shit. Let me just cover my tracks.
Yeah. And either bought the person off or threatened them with like,
Yeah, there's
the
no way
craziest
he's not
lawsuit.
like, yeah, there's no way. If he's the way he's moving, there's no way he's went back and like try to fucking seal up anything that's gonna get him all, fucked up.
Yeah. What they should, if the person if they have those tapes, they should fucking have a talk with the president of Venezuela and be like, look, I'm gonna fucking release these tapes. You need to put me up after this. Like I'm flying down immediately. Like no extradition. He can't sue me anymore. Like I'll release him. I'll
Wait, why is
destroy
he
his entire.
suing here? I missed that. Why is he suing the Venezuela? What's happening with
No,
what's
no.
happening?
Whoever, if somebody has if somebody has those
Oh, I
tapes,
see what you mean. I
they
see.
should be like, talk to the person in Venezuela, like, take me in. I'm gonna drop these tapes. I got my flight booked already, but you
So
guys
you need
gotta,
to leave the country.
you gotta protect me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need protection.
Yeah, yeah. And you might as well, Venezuela would do anything to thumb their nose at fucking Donald Trump, get them to like put me up a nice beachside estate. Um, but yeah, man, look, it was super fun talking to you today.
Thanks.
I think we covered it. I think everything's better now. We fixed it all, and
We did
I'm
fix it
pumped.
all.
I'm pumped. We can go forward with our heads held up high, knowing the world will be a better place.
Did we fix the world? We just like next time we see each other, we should go for pasta and really celebrate because we fixed
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, I
Get
agree.
our
I
little
agree.
napkins, you know what I mean? And just like, have some soda water, you can have some alcohol, and we fixed it, man.
We got it. Anything you want to plug? Your new special is out, which is
Yes, it
hilarious.
is.
I watched some of it. I gotta
Fascism.
finish it. You know how it is with fucking YouTube. You watch like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. But it was great what I saw. Thought it was a really cool idea. Something unique and different. And yeah, it was great. So
Thank you,
everybody should
man.
go check that out.
I tried. You can see it on YouTube. It's called Dawood. And also if you want to listen to it audio wise, it's on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. So
Okay, great. I'll drop a link in the description for
yeah, I
the
appreciate that.
YouTube. Dave, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on.
you, man.
It was great. Good luck out there.
Thank you, bro.
Agree to disagree's a fancy way of saying fuck you.